Welcome back to LowCarb Abode. I'm Ludmilla, and today I'll be sharing my incredibly easy keto crème brûlée recipe. So crème brûlée or burnt cream is of course a classic French dessert. It basically consists of a vanilla custard topped with a layer of caramelized hardened sugar. And while it's considered to be a fancy or a more difficult dessert to make, I find it actually to be one of my easiest desserts. And once you see the techniques I'm using, you will find out that you too can make the crème brûlée basically any time of the week. It actually takes me less than 5 minutes to prepare my custard base. First, I need to whisk together 5 large egg yolks, and I'm going to use the whites later to make my keto hamburger buns. Unlike other crème brûlée recipes, I'm actually not tempering or heating my custard base. I found out that I can skip this step and it will still turn out creamy and delicious. So to my yolk mixture, I'm adding 2 cups of heavy cream, as well as my low-carb sweetener, which is just a 1/4 cup of granular erythritol. And to this I'm adding about 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now I just have to whisk this all together until it's nice and smooth, and this is my custard base. That's how quick and easy it is to make. This recipe makes enough for 6 servings. And now I'm dividing the mixture between 6 ramekins. I'm using these beautiful and colorful porcelain ramekins. Each one has a capacity of 4 ounces or 1/2 cup. And there's no need to grease them before pouring in the custard. You can also use larger ramekins than this. You would just need to increase the baking time. Personally, I like using these small individual ramekins. It just gives you that special restaurant feeling when you serve them to your guests or family. So just for a cleaned up and neat look, I'm using a piece of paper towel to wipe off any little spills that I made here and there before I go ahead and bake my custards. We want to bake them with a consistent, even heat, and that's why I'm using a water bath. This ensures a nice and creamy center and prevents over baking the custards. To do this, I'm using a deep casserole dish, and then I'm pouring enough boiling hot water in that dish so it covers the ramekins about halfway. I have my oven preheated to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake my custards for about 30 minutes until the tops look set, but the center is still slightly jiggly. Before we can make our caramelized sugar toppings for the crème brûlée, the custard has to completely cool down. So first I'm removing the ramekins from the water bath once they're cool enough to touch, and then I'm placing the ramekins in my fridge for about 2 hours. I've tried several different low-carb sweeteners for my caramelized sugar topping and have come to the conclusion that Swerve Brown works best. When Swerve Brown melts, it looks just like caramelized sugar. And once it cools down, it also hardens like caramelized sugar. I also tried granular erythritol, and while it results in a hardened layer, it doesn't brown. It melts into a transparent layer, and then if you try to brown it, it just burns and blackens. But it does harden and it does taste great. So if you don't have Swerve Brown, granular erythritol is certainly your second best option. I also tried allulose, which melts great, but it doesn't harden when it cools down. I'm using about 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of Swerve Brown for each ramekin. So for my crème brûlée recipe, you actually do not need a kitchen torch for that beautiful hardened sugar topping. I don't have one, and I'm simply using the broiler of my oven. Place your ramekins on a metal baking sheet and then place that baking sheet on your second highest or highest oven rack. And then broil your crème brûlées for just 2 to 3 minutes. You want to keep a very close eye on it. As soon as the sweetener is melting, remove the ramekins from the oven. Do not touch the topping, it is super hot. Let them cool down for about 10 minutes, and once your sugar topping has hardened, it's ready to serve. This keto crème brûlée looks just like the classic original. It has a gorgeous crispy topping and a wonderful creamy center. It is worthy of any guest. Don't be afraid to try it out. It's easier than you think. I will talk to you soon. Bye.